Racket number 2.
Second one.
Inman article. We'll link this up as we always do. 7 realities your buyers and sellers should prepare for in 2021. The real estate market boomed last year as more people sought out to get more space, amenities, and new jobs that required relocation. But what will 21 look like? Here's what will likely change or stay in the same year. We're going to go through the 7 of these and decide if these are a racket or not.
Okay.
Number 1, low inventory, high demand, multiple offers. Is that going to remain the same here in 21? That was the same in 20, right?
Yeah. What are they saying? They're saying that it's staying the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seller's market.
Seller's
100%.
market continue.
Everybody knows. Well, especially right now, too. I mean, historically, I feel like first quarter inventory is always low. The amount of buyers, though, I feel like this quarter is bananas.
Here in our MLS, and in the comments, love to hear about what's happening in your MLS. Here in our MLS, December had only 78 for the whole state of Connecticut, just over 7,800 single-family homes available. Just a year and a half ago, we had over 19,000. Last December, we had almost 13,000, almost double the amount of single-family homes we have available right now. And I feel like we have more buyers than ever.
Well,
right?
You have half the inventory, so that's probably why, too. But
Absolutely. All right, number 2, the market won't pay top dollar for overpriced or dated homes. It depends on the price range. This is kind of a half a racket.
You think?
Yeah, because if it's outdated and
overpriced?
If it's outdated and just a little bit overpriced, but it's closer to that median price point, or say it's under 300,000 in our price range,
so
it is priced location dependent.
But if it's outdated and overpriced, I think so many people right now are testing this market. They're pushing the limits, and I think that you can, but I do think you have to stay realistic with it. I mean, there are definitely some properties on the market that have been on for years still.
Yeah. True.
Because they are outdated.
Those are those 7,800 homes we have.
Right. And they were probably on last year when we had 13,000. Yeah. So I think probably together I agree. I mean, you can certainly be outdated at the right price point, but to be outdated and overpriced is just not going to work.
The exception to all rules in real estate is what's the location and what's the price category it's in. So there could be some exceptions to that rule. Number 3, new investor opportunities are overpriced and outdated homes. So that would be what they're saying in number 2 is now a opportunity for an investor to say, okay, this is overpriced, this is outdated. Maybe I can come in here and score a deal because if it is overpriced and outdated, they're sitting on the market longer.
Potentially, but I do think what I didn't read that paragraph, but I'm assuming what it's also saying though is that investors are going to probably be overpaying a little bit too.
Yeah, they're not usually inclined to take on a major overhaul. Maybe they've been frustrated with the market, and so you can come in there and maybe negotiate yourself a better deal if you are an investor. All right, number 4, transactions will become increasingly accelerated. I don't know. I think that the showing process is accelerated.
And it does state that. It says instead of showing 20 homes, you're literally having to pull the trigger quickly.
But the actual transaction with the banks, they've been talking about, and Zillow's been talking about this, like shortening the time frame of going under contract to closing, which on average can take for a normal conventional buyer about 45 days. Right. And a lot of lenders have been bullish that this is going to, some of the big banks especially, like we're going to be able to get into a place where we're having 2 weeks closings all the time. Like that's going to become normal. I have not seen that at scale as of yet.
No, but I do think what is maybe a positive outcome of 2020, and I guess I should say the pandemic more than just the year, mortgage companies are now able to do things more remotely. So, closings don't have to happen in person anymore. You don't have to have witnesses. So I do think that there are potentially going to be some things that can get accelerated due to the fact that there's a lot less hands-on now. A lot more, buyers are getting a little bit more savvier with doing things online. I mean, forever, people have been so reluctant about being paperless.
I'd like to see more speed. And I think that starts with the process. If we can get the process down, more people can get in the market, more homes can go on the market. And to Zillow's big thing of we're going to double the amount of transactions. It's going to be this huge reshuffling and migration coming. if we get the process cut down, then we can do that.
Well, I think if you're also in a multiple offer situation, you're also going to be cutting your dates down, and you're going to be freaking moving your ass too in order for your offer to get accepted.
Number 5, lease back and post occupancy after closing. So speaking of flexibility, buyers who are able to offer sellers the ability to stay in their properties after closing for a specified period of time may have an advantage over buyers who are trying to time their closings with their move-in date.
You know, it's actually a very interesting strategy. I have a few homes on the top of my head I could think of that would work for.
A lot of buyers obviously want to get in the home ASAP.
Enough,
but if they're maybe they're like, hey, you know what? I can rough it out another 3 months at our parents' house, whatever the case may be. I'm going to buy the home, but I'm going to let you have that 3-month period. If there's 6 or 7 offers on the table,
it is a seller's market for sure.
It definitely puts them at the top of the list if that is, something that is interesting to the seller.
Very interesting. Okay. It's interesting to me.
Number 6, appraised values may become increasingly challenging. Okay. I would agree because the market keeps going up. It went up here in our state. Yeah. Be curious in the comments how high the market appreciated in your market. But we were up over 15% for single family homes here in Connecticut for appreciation value. So I just red buttoned our Zillow rep.
You did.
That was Zillow Group calling me. That was definitely our Zillow rep. I just red buttoned. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm hoping you're watching the real word. I did not mean to do that. I will be calling you immediately after the recording of this show.
All right, and you red buttoned it. Couldn't you just let it ring?
No.
Was it bothering you?
Well, I want to let them know that, hey, I was shooting the show. I red buttoned you for a reason. I wasn't ignoring you. I saw it come through. Mm-hmm. You got to really smooch up to your Zillow
That's
rep.
why I put my phone away, and then I don't even know that I am missing anything.
Number 7, overcrowded and overvalued markets. Overcrowded and everyone has been on the move to certain geographic locations over the last few years. Some states like Florida started seeing a run-up of new residents, particularly after the tax reform legislation of 2018. So these places are going to become more crowded and start to become overvalued because people are rushing to places like Florida, Tennessee, for example.
It's interesting though, because it's the last one is talking about the fact that appraisals are going to be more difficult. So I feel like appraisals will sort of keep values quasi in check.
You would hope,
unless you're just getting a flurry of cash buyers that are driving up the.
Yeah, and that's what happened here. We went up 15% in 1 year. We had a lot of cash buyers, and we didn't really have a lot of appraisal issues. So and we saw people, by the way, that their homes went under appraised and said, I'm moving forward anyways. I got the cash to make up the difference.
I mean, in all honesty, I saw that on so many deals. If you even listing agents were like, hey, if it does, do they have the cash to make up for it? So,
yeah.
Okay.